indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll get started here tonight. Is there any additions, deletion, or motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Benninga.
Benninga moved. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Further discussions to approve the consent agenda? No further motions made, seconded. All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson? Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. The consent agenda has been approved 8-0. Is there any additions, deletions, or a motion to approve the regular agenda?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve the regular agenda? Seeing none, all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh? Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. The regular agenda has been approved 8-0. Now, this is the time that we set aside for anyone that wishes to address the council for a period of 5 minutes. We ask you to come forward, and if you give us your name and your address, we would appreciate that. So anyone who wishes to address the council for 5 minutes, come forward.
Yes, Your Mayor. My name is Daniel Brooks, and my address is 809 South Lyons Avenue. And I'm here right now, Mr. Mayor and Council, because I'm really concerned regarding the children of Sioux Falls. I am understanding that this might become another summer where the children of Sioux Falls are standing outside the swimming pool instead of inside the swimming pool enjoying themselves. And I have to ask myself, why would this be an issue?
Daniel, can I just stop you? We're going to have that issue come up here shortly. If you want to, on that part, it's going to be on the agenda tonight. At the
Okay.
fee part, if you want to wait and address us at that time, that'd probably
Sure,
be
that's
appropriate.
fine.
Thank you very much.
You're
So
welcome,
We'll wait
sir.
for you. We'll wait for you. Others wish to address council for a period of 5 minutes. I see no one coming forward, so we will get into the regular agenda at this time. Item number 4.
Item number 4 is a second reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving a grant of permanent easement and temporary construction easement, Lewis and Clark Water Pipeline.
Good evening. Chad Hebe with the Office of Public Works, Engineering Division. This easement is in a city-owned detention pond, approximately a quarter mile west of the 85th Street and Louise Avenue intersection. This easement will contain the Lewis and Clark pipeline that will be installed on the south side of 85th Street. Engineering has determined that the pond capacity and performance will not be diminished by the pipe presence and recommends approval.
Questions of Chad on item number 4? Others that wish to address the council on item number 4? Council discussion or action?
Move to approve, Litz.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item number 4, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 4 has been approved 8-0. Item number 5.
Item number 5 is the second reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Section 27-41 of Article 3 of the revised ordinances of the city by revising recreation and facility fees.
Good evening. Don Kearney with Parks and Recreation Department. In summary, this ordinance is being updated to incorporate the new programs and facilities that we've added since the last time the ordinance was updated. There are 2 things that we initiated with regard to changes to the ordinance. One is changing the definition of a senior from 65 years of age down to 55 years of age, and then at the Park Board's recommendation, changing the definition of an infant from less than 1 year to less than 2 years. And you've seen the presentation at past council meetings, and I'm available for questions if you have them.
Other questions of Don on item number 5?
Yes. Yeah, Don, I just have a couple of questions here. When it comes to league/tournament fees, city-sponsored, we have the Men's Adult Basketball League having to pay $400, the Women's Adult Basketball League paying $200, and the Over 40 Basketball League paying $200. Can you explain why we have that difference instead of having a uniform rate?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are 2 officials for the men's, and the others only have 1.
Oh, okay. And also, I have just one other quick question, and that's on the last page, dealing with concession permits. And the one that deals with concession permits, seasonal, per vendor, 10% of gross sales, less sales tax. Okay. If somebody has a seasonal one, they don't have to worry about also paying per event. Is that correct or not?
Yeah, the concessions permit per vendor per event above that is primarily for special events.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, one other one, too. Sports photography fee, $100. Can you explain that one?
Yeah, this is for the different youth leagues primarily that hire photographers to come in and take all their youth sports photos. Like soccer, for example, they'll hire a photographer to do all their photos. And a couple of years ago, there was quite a discussion about how this was, concession permits are supposed to be handled with regard to photographers. And in working with the photographers here in town, they've agreed that this was probably the best way to set that up. And it essentially, we allow the, whether it be Sioux Empire Baseball, Sioux Falls Soccer, whoever it might be, to identify who that photographer is, and then they in turn apply for the permit knowing that they're going to be taking the photos, and that's how we do that, so that not everybody is down there trying to sell their wares, so to speak, with regard to their photography services.
But I guess I'm still wondering about, they're not renting anything out from the city, are they? I mean, they're just taking pictures of these teams.
Yeah, it's a concessions fee, the right to be able to go down there and take the photos for the different teams.
Yeah, but they're not renting any part of the facility, or are they? Or they're just happen to, the teams are playing and they take some pictures and they get charged $100 by the city.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem. What do they get in return from the city for the $100? I mean,
They get the right to take the pictures
but why
and
should
sell
they-
their product in the park.
yeah. I guess I'm just still wondering why we're charging them $100.
Yeah.
Okay. Further questions of Don on item number 5? Others that wish to address the council on item number 5? If you want to come forward now, you sure can.
Yes, Your Mayor and council members. Like I was saying before, I'm being aware that the kids of Sioux Falls will be left outside of the swimming pool. And it's bothering me a lot because last year I know that my son and his friend tried to get in the swimming pool. My son went inside the swimming pool. His friend was on the outside of the gate. So what he did is pass his shorts through the gate. His friend got the shorts, tried to come into the pool, and they both got caught. Now, they both got caught. They got kicked out. So where does the children go? That's my question. We do not provide access to a public swimming pool for our children of Sioux Falls, not just who can afford, but those who cannot afford. And if we do not, the question is, where do they go? Do they go to a friend's house where they're going to sit up in some friend's house tied to what do we do now? Do they go to the movies? Well, if they can't get in the swimming pool, they don't have no money to get in the movies. Do they go to the parks? The park is a swimming pool, so they can't go there because they're sitting on the outside while their friends are swimming on the inside. And my question to the city council and the mayor, where do these children go? What are we going to provide for these children during the summertime if we do not include them inside of the swimming pool so they can have a good time? Sometime in low-income situation, the most available and the most highly activity is the swimming pool. And if a parent or a family does not have the means to provide that little bit of $25, because that $25 could make a difference of 2 meals in their home, where do these children go? And it gets me because we know we're growing. The city is growing, diversity, every area we're growing in, building, construction, government, every area. But what do we do with these children who cannot swim because they do not have the means and the funds? I say to the council and the mayor, let's put a plan together to include these children who do not have the funds to swim, so that they can be a part of the city. They are the children of the city, and as we grow, they need to grow. We need to provide a public access to our swimming pool for our children. And that's it. Thank you again.
Questions? Thank you very much for coming up. Others who wish to address the council on item number 5? Council discussion or action on item number 5? Do you have a,
I would like to make an amendment.
okay, can we get a
Yeah, I guess you
motion
need
to
to do
approve and
the
second
approve.
this? Did you make, Pat? Costello
Second,
moved. Is there a
Jameson.
second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Okay, go ahead then.
Yes, sorry. Is it, I would like to make a motion to amend this ordinance, and I'm talking about Section 27-41, and then under A for aquatic fees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items down, I would like to insert this wording, please. Season passes for families who are residents of Sioux Falls with a Dakota EBT card, that stands for Electronic Benefits Transfer Card, and I would like free for the fee, for the non-fee, I mean.
And you made the motion then?
Yes.
Is there a second? Okay, Brown seconded. Further comments on that motion to amend? Everybody understands it? Okay, Bob.
A question for Don. Is there any way to track these families or who uses the pool, at which pool they use and that type thing during the summer?
We can track the number of folks that go to the pool, but the pass itself is transferable, so they could go all 5 pools in one day if they wanted to.
Okay, I understand that, but is there a mechanism to say which part of town they come from?
Just by their address on the application.
But not as they come to the pool? There's no zip code or anything on that card that they present?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they get issued the tags and the passes, and then after the patches, and once that, there's no zip code or anything like that on there when they come in. Or when are you talking about when they buy it?
No, when the utilization of the pool.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what the utilization of a pool is by these families, and to what part of town do they come from. It's just a thing that I think would be of interest to us in the council to know which pool are being used or utilized.
Yeah, the one thing that we have tracked here in the last several months is where the folks that purchase their pass live at, and so I can track where they're buying them from, what areas of town are buying the passes, and by which type, but not necessarily the individual pool, because they do rotate and they go to different pools.
Sure,
So
sure.
we don't have any way to track that.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Yes, Don, what kind of income levels are we talking about here for people who get food stamps? What's the highest amount of income you can get and then get food stamps?
Yeah, Hugh Grogan with the Human Services Office is in the audience. He could probably answer
Okay,
that
sure.
question better.
Do you want to answer that, Hugh? Would you come up? Would you come up, please?
Hugh Grogan, Minnehaha County Department of Human Services. And if you went with the EBT card, which is a recommendation we made to the Park Department and we worked with the Park Department on, it would mean that every household that receives food stamps would be eligible for a free pass. For a family of 4, that would be approximately $25,000, up to $25,000 that they could make. A family of 4 at poverty level would be about $19,900. So it would be a little bit higher than poverty, but it would still be the poorest people in our community. And I would note that we've had the partnership we've had with the Park Department over the past probably 10, 12 years with the city and the County Department of Human Services has worked very well. And that's been an effort that we've had in the community to make sure that we had free and reduced cost passes available to people. It's just that as the city has grown larger and larger, it's been hard for us to keep ahead with some of the things that we had in place. And so the last couple of years, we've come up with some mechanisms where people could get reduced passes at the swimming pools, which I think increased the numbers of people that were using that particular thing. And then we've still had free passes available through my office, so if we had somebody that was complaining that they didn't have any money at all to pay for a pass, they would get referred by the pools or by the park department to our office. So we were doing, and we have been doing free passes all along, but it's been, the system that's being proposed would work a lot better. It would be right at the pools and would be ensuring that every low-income child or family had access to the free swimming. So I would encourage your support of it.
Yeah, just to clarify something, Hugh. So if a family of 4 has an income of $25,001, they get no food stamps at all.
I'm just giving you a rough approximation. It'd be about 25,000 would be the cutoff. Now, as I understand what the Park Department's proposing, they would continue the programs we had in place last year, and that was if a family was on any of the CHIPS programs, those are Medicaid programs, and those can go up to 200% of federal poverty. So for a family of 4, that would be about 39,000. Then they would qualify for half-price tickets, and if they were on the school lunch program and not on food stamps, they could still qualify for the half-price tickets. So they would still be saving, considerable amounts of money. And I always tease Barb that whenever anybody asks, I always say, well, my goal would be that it's free swimming for everybody, but if we don't have that, then I think we want to make sure that our low-income people, and particularly the kids, have access to the free swimming. And I think the city has always been real generous in trying to live up to that commitment.
And I would just like to remind my colleagues, too, that South Dakota has a very good track record as far as accuracy with the EBT, electronic benefits transfer card program on a national level. We have a very good record, not only by staff, but also by participants. In other words, there's been shown very little abuse of this system for these people who are whose lives are much more difficult than mine. And the other point I would like to make to you is just to give you a rough idea of numbers, and this would be children, but you can kind of wing it from there as far as parents, number of parents too. But in the Kids Count 2006 booklet, there were 1,920 children that were ages, babies through the age of 4 that qualified, that their parents qualified for the EBT card. And again, keep in mind that number, I mean, most of those children are using our wading pools, and those are free anyway. And then the number for 5-year-olds through 13-year-olds was 2,324 children just in Sioux Falls, I'm talking about, whose parents qualified for the EBT card. And then for a little bit older, middle school to high school age 14 through 17, that number was 705. So really, I think that this program would cover approximately 3,000 children if they all utilize the program and their parents. And even if their parents, just went to the pools with them once in a while when they weren't working 2 or 3 jobs, it would still be a very good use of their time. And then the only other thing I need to say, Mayor, is I made a mistake. I was supposed to also, in my motion, I need to add a definition. I'm sorry. I need to add the definition resident to the definition section. And so even though it's pretty obvious to me what a resident is, I guess I'm supposed to add this. Resident of Sioux Falls means any person whose actual place of residence is within the city limits of Sioux Falls. So sorry, I forgot to say that.
So you're going to substitute motion to amend?
Yeah.
With the original part that you talked about, plus this, so substitute motion?
Second.
And that's second, okay. Motion been made, and second substitute motion, so everybody understands what we've done there. Further questions? Any further questions of Hugh?
Thank you.
Just a second.
Someone may ask what the fiscal impact of this might be, and I would suggest that it's going to be minimal, if any at all. And I would suggest that based on the assumption that many of these children, their families, are not using the pools now. Would that be a safe assumption?
I think we will increase the number of people that are using the pools, that we probably have some families that we were missing in the past that now will be able to get the free tickets much easier. And maybe in the past they were going once or twice and paying the dollar fee to get in, but they weren't spending the $25. And maybe we didn't, maybe not. I think the park department, and I know in our office we did lots of efforts to promote the fact that we had the reduced costs and the free ones, but I think we did miss a lot of people.
Further questions of Hugh?
This isn't necessarily for Hugh, maybe for Dee. This pertains only to the children, does it not?
No, actually, that word should now be families instead of children.
The motion to amend says families, yes.
Oh, it does, okay.
So, further questions? Okay, thank you, Hugh, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time. We've got a substitute motion to amend. Everybody understands the substitute motion to amend?
No, I don't. Is that just to add the definition of resident? Oh, okay.
Her motion now reads, she made the motion, she's going to add, the substitute motion, she's add in this section over here on page 2 where it says families along with her new motion, so it's all in one now. She made the substitute motion.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the substitute motion.
Okay.
So everybody understands the substitute motion. All in favor of the substitute motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. The substitute motion has been approved, 7 yes, 1 no. So we're back to the main motion as amended. Is there further comments on the main motion as amended? We've had a motion made, seconded. See no further discussion. All in favor of approving? Item number 5 as amended will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 5 has been approved 8-0 as amended. Item 6.
Item number 6 is a first reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adding 15.43.089 Environmental Land Use Control Overlay District.
Good evening, Erica Beck with the City Planning Department. The intent of this ordinance, in short, is to recognize that there are geographic areas within the City of Sioux Falls that have environmental constraints. The Environmental Land Use Control Overlay District identifies sites that need regulations to ensure the protection of human health and the environment against exposure to contaminated soil, groundwater, or both that may be present on property as a result of past uses on the property. This ordinance establishes procedures and the criteria for reviewing and restricting land uses which will have the potential to pose a risk from a contaminated site. I'm not going to give you much of a detailed presentation tonight other than that, but I would ask that if you have any questions to either ask them to me tonight or please get a hold of me during the week too before next week, and I'll make you a much more detailed presentation at that time.
Questions of Erica?
Yes, Eric, I think I remember reading something about that. We have to do this, pass this ordinance because of EPA and the South Dakota Department of Natural Resources and so forth. What if we didn't?
Do you want the long answer or the short answer? No.
The long answer.
No. Okay, well, a couple of years ago, and actually this has been going on for several years, but we've received numerous brownfield grants from the EPA. And as part of those grants, in order to get those grants closed, we have to ensure the EPA that their money is being used wisely. Therefore, we're telling them that we're taking into consideration everything that we've done in the past couple of years with our Brownsfield project, and we're going to ensure that we have regulations in place to ensure that no one will be harmed from contamination on the site by any sort of land use that could take place there. So we're adopting an ordinance just stating that in the future, any potential project that would happen at this Brownsfield site will be reviewed in great detail by the City of Sioux Falls.
Further questions, Erica, on item number 6?
So if I could just clarify, then in reality, what this ordinance will do is just going to be focusing on uptown. I mean, theoretically, we could be talking about east of Phillips, but that's a park area. We don't really have to, unless we make some changes, we really don't have to worry about that. Is that fair to say?
Yes and no. Right now, all you're seeing on the map on the screen is 2 parcels of property. One is the West Falls Park property, and then the Uptown property. All of that is the Brownsfield area. So there are different regulations within this ordinance specific to both of those sites individually that basically state what could happen there in the future. But this ordinance is not just for the Brownsfield property. In the future, we would like to open it up to additional properties within the city that could have environmental constraints, not just this property.
Thank you.
Further questions, Erica, on item number 6? If not, is there a motion to set the hearing date for February 20th for item number 6?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? See no further comments. All in favor of setting the hearing date for February 20th for item number 6, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Did you want me to do number 7?
Let's take this one second before we may change the hearing date.
Okay. Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 6, hearing date has been set for February 20th. Item number 7.
Item number 7 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the city, authorizing the issuance of its sales tax revenue bonds in one or more series, authorizing the use of the proceeds thereof to pay the costs of 1, the expansion, renovation, and equipping of the existing library and parking lots at 201 North Main Avenue, 301 North Main Avenue, and 7th Street right-of-way between North Dakota Avenue and North Main Avenue, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 2, the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a sports facility on approximately 111 acres known as Harmondon Park, located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Highway 11 and 31st Street in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 3, the acquisition, construction, and equipping of an aquatic facility which shall include a swimming pool, play area space, and public gathering space on approximately 34 acres at the southwest corner of the intersection of 10th Street and Cliff Avenue, commonly known as Nelson Park. And 4, sales tax funded projects for park-related projects in the capital improvements plan adopted by the City Council on August 7, 2006, pledging a portion of the sales and use tax proceeds of the city to the payment of said sales tax revenue bonds, fixing the terms of such sales tax revenue bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of one or more supplemental indentures between the city and the First National Bank in Sioux Falls, and authorizing the sale, execution, and delivery of such sales tax revenue bonds.
Tom Huber with the City Finance Office. This is the authorization for the issuance of $35 million in sales tax revenue bonds. This is both a pledge to be pledged and repaid with the second penny sales tax that currently exists, the 0.92 cent. It's authorized up to $35 million. Interest not to exceed 6%. Maturity of no greater than 21 years. There's no derivatives language within this ordinance, and could be either negotiated or competitive sale. The bond encompasses primarily 3 projects, $4.2 million for the Harmondon Park improvements, main library renovations, about $11.1 million, and Drake Springs swimming pool replacement for $12.4 million, for a total of just under $28 million in bonds. The remaining part to get up to the amount of the bonds is for debt reserve, for contingencies, and then all-inclusive cost to issue.
Questions, Tom?
Yeah, Tom, I guess the question I have is, it appears that there's an attempt to really rush this through. And the reason I say that is because, in the newspaper there's been a number of stories talking about, the possibility of letting the citizens vote on an outdoor pool. And if a vote took place, it's possible it would take place on May 15th, when the school district has a vote. The latest information I've come up with is there are about 5,000 people who have signed these petitions. And I'm just wondering, why are we rushing this through before, assuming we have that election, with an indoor pool here at $12.3 million? To me, it would be more sensible to wait and see, what kind of vote we have on May 15th, if that does take place. And then maybe on May 21st, then vote on this after the vote's taken place. To me, that sounds like a more sensible thing to do, if I could have him answer that.
This is an authorization to issue. It's not the issuance itself. In order to reimburse yourself the costs under the Internal Revenue Code regulations, for projects that cost for projects that are started prior to when you issue the bonds, you need to have either an ordinance on the books authorizing the issuance, or else a resolution of an intent to issue. There's no rush to issue the bonds, but there is 2 projects that have pending costs, the Harmondon Park project and the main library renovation project that have deadlines that we went through this afternoon. The first being for Harmon Park that is a deadline of April 20th, 2007 for the first bid award. And once those projects are bid, in order to reimburse ourselves, we either have to have this authorization on the books or a resolution of intent to authorize. The issuance could come much later.
Yeah, but my understanding is we're actually going to sell the bonds in September. And this rush for Harmon Park, I think it's over a restroom facility. And from what I understand, we would have some cash to deal with that. We could go ahead and deal with that right now without this authorization. And then, after we have the vote, possibly May 15th, then we could just simply include all of this. And we're issuing the bonds in September.
Again, the authorization is for the purpose of being able to reimburse ourselves for the cost of those costs that are incurred for Harmon Park and for the main library renovation projects that would be incurred prior to the issuance of the bonds. So if you're going to reimburse yourself for those bonds, you have to have either an ordinance authorizing the issuance or a resolution of intent to issue in order to be able to reimburse ourselves for those costs.
Well, I'd just like to point out that I believe under our ordinance that if we decided to not build an indoor version of the pool, we could simply reduce the amount of the bond issue. And I don't recall that this being anything rushed, because I think we first saw it back in the CIP process when it was originally brought up that the quality of life bond would be paying for the proceeds out of that, would be funding these items. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that I think we heard earlier in our fiscal committee that since I think it was beginning of January 1, interest rates have gone up 20 basis points. And while there's no, we don't know for certain what's going to happen with interest rates, the likelihood is that they would continue to go up, and the sooner that we did our bond issue, the better rate we likely would get.
And very respectfully, I would just like to add that really I don't feel like we're rushing this at all. We have been talking about these topics for as long as I've been on the city council, and government works way too slowly, frankly, for me. And then I was going to tease my good friend and colleague, Kermit Stagers, and remind him that about 135,000 people have not signed those petitions.
Okay.
Others?
This was...
Do you have questions, further questions? Do you have a question?
Yeah, well, I guess once again, we're actually going to be getting these bonds in September. And none of us here on this council knows what the interest rates are going to be. So we can do this now, or we can do it in June. I think Woody, you said June was the latest we'd have to do this so we could buy the bonds in September. And all I'm saying is be very reasonable here and see what the voters say if there is a May 15th election. Because this Drake Springs swimming pool replacement, the indoor pool, in 2008 figures, it's $12,373,000. Total spending on these three projects is $27,673,000. So we almost have half of this spending dealing with that indoor pool. This is a large part of it. I'm just saying we should stop.
Let's go with Kevin here, and then we'll go back to Gary.
Tom, remind me, I thought I heard earlier that we have certain development costs associated with both the park project and the library that we need to take care of so that we can authorize this. Whether we issue the bonds for the indoor pool or not is irrelevant now. We need to authorize the bond issuance so that we can cover those costs that are ongoing very soon. Not June, not July, not September, but we're going to start doing some stuff with Harmadon and the park. The library in the next couple of months. Is that true?
Right, with bid awards scheduled for April for two of those, part of the main library parking lot project and for part of the Harmadon Park project, you will incur costs prior to, very likely prior to when you issue the bonds. If the bond occurs in September, those costs will have already been incurred, and you would lose the ability to reimburse yourself with bond funds for those costs if you do not approve either the ordinance or resolution of intent. And again, all three of these projects were included in the 2007 through the 2011 CIP plan, with part of the cost to start being paid in '07.
Gary?
The issue that causes the timing here deals with the fact that both Harmadan and the library project are on a fast track, much faster than Drake Springs. They need money in April. Within the CIP, the source of revenue for these three projects is shown as the quality of life bonds. They're shown as bond revenues. The city can manage its money to fund for the short term the funds that are going to be needed for Harmadan and for the library only if the council authorizes the issuance of bonds. If you do not authorize the issuance of bonds, the administration has no ability to use cash flow to pay for Harmadan costs and library costs, which are both due in April.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Bob hasn't had a chance to speak.
I would just like to remind the council, this is first reading and not the debate session of the ordinance. This is only for notification of a public hearing, and I'd like it to be kept that way, that this is not the place to be debating this issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of a better place to debate this. Why wait until another few weeks to debate this? We should be debating it both times.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
What's the point of order?
First reading is for first reading and setting the date of hearing for the public input and/or public debate.
For the staff to give their report on it. So.
Okay. In regard to the amount of money that Gary Caldwell was talking about, we were in a fiscal meeting last week where Gene Roanhorse said that we could cover this with our cash we had at the time. Is that changed or what?
No, that has not changed. We can cover the temporary cash flow of this with revenues within the second penny sales tax. The issue is being able to, at some point, recover that cash outlay with bond proceeds. It's listed in the CIP as bond funds. Thus, we need the authorization to move forward to use bond funds for these projects.
Okay, is there any further comments or?
Move to set the date of hearing for March 5th.
Okay.
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Brown made the motion. Kavanaugh seconded. Set the hearing date for item 7 for March 5th. All in favor of that motion, set the hearing date, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes. All members present have voted. Item number 7, the hearing date is set for March 5th. 7 yes, 1 no. Item 8.
Item 8 is deferred action, a resolution vacating South Anthony Avenue from north property line of Lot 12, Block 1, Troyville addition to southwest property corner of Lot J, County Odd Sub Trail, or TR, 1 Government Lot 1, Northeast 1/4, Section 12-100-51.
Good evening. This portion of Anthony Avenue is just east of the 57th Street and Sertoma Avenue intersection. The right-of-way is unimproved and does not contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all adjacent property owners, and the petitioner has complied with our street vacation policy. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public and/or private utilities. Staff members with engineering, planning, and fire prevention have reviewed the proposed vacation. Initial concerns were the dead-end streets on the north and south ends of Anthony Avenue. Engineering has worked with the petitioner and has reduced the vacation limits, preserving right-of-way for future access and/or turnarounds. Because of this work we've done with the petitioner, I'm going to recommend that a motion is made to amend the resolution as follows. The language after, strike the language after the word addition and replace with south to 212 feet north of the north right-of-way line of West 61st Street. The petitioner is present tonight if there are any further questions.
Questions of Chad? We'll get to that motion to amend in a minute, Chad. Is there other questions, Chad? Others wish to address council on item number 8? Not. Is there a motion from the council to approve item 8?
Move for approval. Jamison.
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Okay, we got a motion been made, seconded to approve. Bob?
And move to amend as recommended by Chad.
Okay, that motion been made. Is there a second to that
Second,
motion?
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Okay. Further comments on the motion to amend? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to amend will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes. Motion to amend has been approved 8-0. Is there further discussion? We've got a motion to approve as amended. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve as amended will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson? Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes. All members present have voted. Item 8 has been approved 8-0 as amended. Item 9.
Item 9 is a proposed resolution vacating North Wayland Avenue adjacent to Tracks 2 and 3 Rogness Addition.
This portion of Wayland Avenue is east of Cliff Avenue and north of Barney's Auto Salvage. The right-of-way is unimproved and does not contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities.
Questions of Chad on item 9? Bob?
Is this part of that park, mobile home park?
This portion is not. The next two coming up, items 10 is Blavelt, and number 11 is Highland. Highland is just south of what was the Skyview Mobile Home Court.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions on 9? Let's go to 10.
10 is a proposed resolution vacating North Blavet Avenue adjacent to Track 3 Highland Heights Addition and Track 3 Rogness Addition.
This portion of Blavelt Avenue, once again, is east of Cliff Avenue and north of Barney's Auto Salvage. The right-of-way is unimproved and does not contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities.
Questions of Chad on item number 10? Let's move to 11 then.
Item 11 is a proposed resolution vacating North Highland Avenue adjacent to Track 3 Highland Heights Addition.
This portion of Highland Avenue, again, is east of Cliff Avenue and north of Barney's Auto Salvage. The right-of-way is unimproved and does not contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, the utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities. And this is what was the Skyview Mobile Home Court.
Questions on 11? Let's go to 12. Oh, wait, excuse me, go back up. Go, Bob.
Why don't you go ahead and move to 12, because my question would concern...
Okay, go to 12 then.
Item 12 is a proposed resolution vacating West 4th Street from North Main Avenue east to the Phillips to the Falls Addition.
This portion of 4th Street is between Main Avenue and Phillips Avenue. The right-of-way is unimproved and does contain city utilities. The petition was signed by all adjacent property owners. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained for public or private utilities.
Questions on item 12? Okay. See no questions. Let's go back to where we're at. What pages? Is there a motion to set the hearing date for items 9 through 12 for March 12th?
I so move. Knutson.
Go ahead, excuse me. Just a minute.
sorry.
Yes, I guess I had a question on 9 through 11 on there. You know, we're going to vacate these areas, and who gets this piece of property? Who's going to maintain it, or
This property will go back to the original property owners that dedicated it.
is it going down the hill? Is it on the hillside here?
Those small portions are not. They are actually at the same grade as the existing streets are, but the tremendous grade change happens farther south.
Okay, but you know, when these go back, they'll just go back to their natural vegetative state? Or is that what they're in right now?
I was up at all three of these the other day. Wayland is, to me, it looks like it's a gravel parking lot. Blauvelt is really just in its natural state. Highland, that entire area has been redeveloped. I think the existing mobile homes have all been removed. There's probably pedestals out there, and new utilities have been installed. And I would assume that mobile homes will be moved in. But that portion of Highland Avenue is probably south of where the trailers will actually sit.
Okay, so there's nothing that really needs to be maintained or taken out of there?
Not at this point.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Gerald? This might be more for the city attorney, but I remember in our conversations in the past, we had some difficulties with the Skyview Trailer Court and the cleaning up of that property and getting it ready for land use. Do we have any liens on any of those properties with a previous landowner in this easement, if you will?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I'll certainly find out and let the council know before action on this is taken.
Thank you.
Further questions of Chad on items 9 through 12? We've got a motion Knutson made. Is there a second to set the hearing date for March 12th?
So moved. Let's
seconded. Motion been made and seconded to set the hearing date for items 9 through 12 for March 12th. No further discussion. All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. The hearing date has been set for items 9 through 12 for March 12th. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Kavanaugh moved. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jamison seconded. All in favor of the adjournment will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Benega?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
We stand adjourned.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do, but I don't, I'm concerned.
Thanks for your comments.